Hey Rich, hey Ellen, happy Father's Day from Juan. I imagine he'd say that because he calls you guys Poppy or Pappy or whatever the Latins do. It's been ages. I think it's like been 3 months since I last updated you. I went on a trip to Halliburton. So yeah, I apologize. It's been forever. One of the main reasons is I have a crazy roommate, had a crazy roommate. She still hasn't moved out. But she like never left the house. And it was just kind of weird. Having her mill about and then try to update you and having to restart and restart and restart. Because I tried that once and it was really awkward. She kept asking me about it. Or like she'd walk by and be like, argh. So I didn't send you that one. School's almost done. Tuesday is our open house where we get to show off our co-op projects. Yay. They went well. And it's exciting. Hopefully meeting with potential employers. Or my dad. Well, my dad's coming down, so it'll be kind of cool to show him what I've been up to all year. And it'll just be fun. I get to make food. I'm making a special recipe. It's not my recipe. It's like a Canadian living. But I'll probably post a picture of it when I do it. But it should be really good. So I'm excited about that. I am incredibly jealous that you guys got to go to Dublin. I'm always jealous when you guys go traveling. I'm very happy that you got to go traveling. Sucks that you missed your first flight, but you got to admit it. Pretty fortunate, like amazing, like just the fact that you got onto the second flight so easily. Like you could have been put through so much more hassle than you would have wanted to. So good on you, and I really hope you did have fun in Dublin. Drank a lot of beer. I love beer. Speaking of which, so on Facebook, way back when, I posted that like the cops were busting down my door. So I'll give you the full story. My girl Natters and I decided that we were going to go out for a pitcher. One pitcher. Now with Nat and I, one pitcher really doesn't amount to one pitcher. First off, we did a little pre-drink at her place, and we finished off a bottle of spiced rum and started into vodka before we went to this place called The Grand and got a pitcher where we apparently met up with Steph and Nick. I think I remember seeing them for like a little bit before just not remembering it at all. Fast forward, it's streaming sunshine in through my window, and all I hear is like banging on my door. It's like, it's the police, open up! And I'm like, what? What's going on? Oh, I like stumble over to the door and I open it up and I'm standing there. I'm like, oh, what's going on? It's like, we've been called here for domestic disturbance and like blah blah blah. I'm like, oh no, totally not me. Couldn't be me. I'm like smiling, like still probably a little bit drunk and laughing at them like, no, it's definitely you. And my friend Nat comes out from like the bedroom where apparently I put her, and she's like, no, that's not him. JD, put on pants. It turns out that my crazy roommate had her crazy a deadbeat boyfriend over that previous night, and they got into a fight that morning, and she kicked him out because she was accusing him of using her for money and sex. So yeah, he got kicked out, and then he started wailing on the front door to be let back in. I mean, this is not his place. Like, so far as I'm concerned, he's not even really supposed to be on the property. Because, one, we told Leah no. Two, he pulled a freaking knife on our landlord once. So he's banging on the door, and Nat, strong woman that she is, she goes, I mean, he's a short thing. He's like a short little troll of a child. And, Nat's a tall, like, athletic, fit brunette, like, not Amazon, but, you know, strong woman. She's like, what the fuck? Like, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. And he's, like, trying to push her, and she's just pushing him back. And he's yelling and fighting, and apparently, someone who works for the landlord is like, I'm calling the cops. So they called the cops, and the cops came. The cops bust down into my bedroom, and so they grab him once they realize it's not me. I eventually put on pants and go outside, grab water, and they're like chatting away. Not chatting away. They're like interrogating him. And it's like, what were you doing? Like banged on the door. It's like, why were you originally kicked out? Stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I wasn't banging on the door. And everyone's like, yes, you were. You were wailing on it. Even the one who called the cops was there. It's like, you were. And he's even like broken into the apartment before. So I'm getting water and I look up on the fridge and there's a knife there. Like it's a little switchbladey thing. And I'm like, Leah, oh, whatever. Leah, whose knife is this? And she's like, well, I guess it's mine now. She goes for it and I grab it. And I'm like walking out. I go, excuse me, officer. I think this belongs to that guy. And our landlord is now there. And he's like, that's the knife he pulled on me. So now the cops are talking to douchebag ex-boyfriend. And they're like, oh, so now you pulled like a knife on your landlord, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to break down the window, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, no, no, no. And he essentially gets, I don't know, I think he was, like, fined or something with, like, mischief or misdemeanor, and he's pretty much banned from the property. Yay! So, fast forward to the next morning, I'm now again woken up by someone banging on the bedroom window next to me, and you hear like it open. The roommate's like, what do you want? And he's like screaming back at her from like the driveway right there, and they're going back and forth. And the really cool girl who joined us for drinks the other day opens up her window and she's like, shut the fuck up, you motherfucking crackhead, or I'll motherfucking call the cops on you again. She's like screaming at him, and he's trying to like make a comeback at her. He's like, no, shut the fuck up. Which was amazing. Which was absolutely amazing. So then, of course, I'm going to fast forward again now because like there's just a lot of crazy in this place. And crazy girlfriend has now decided it's appropriate for her, well, it's a smart move for her to move out of this place and into a new place with her boyfriend. The crazy ex-boyfriend who used her for sex and money. Not a smart girl. So they're now moving things out of her window because she doesn't want the landlord to know because she still owes him money. And he's like trying to rip open the screen door and she's like, no, stop it, what are you doing? I'll open the window. And I call from my bed, no, Leah, you know he's not allowed in or around the property by law. And then the guy who's now offered them this place to like live, he's like, oh, what happened? So they just say, oh, you know, it was a misunderstanding. Bullshit. And he's like, oh, well, you know, some people need to, you know, be give second chances, because he's like yelling it at me, like, because I'm the bad guy here. And I'm just like, whatever, I go to bed. So then she leaves for the day and comes back at like 11:30, some ridiculous hour, and she continues to try to move. And she opens up her bedroom door and she flips out because she can't find her cat. And the window's been left open. Well, probably your stupid ex-boyfriend left your window open after he tried to rip it open. She's like, no, 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 no. Like, I always close my windows. My cats. I think so. She actually thinks that someone opened up her window to spite her, to let her cat out. And then on top of it, the neighbors who, kind of friends with, their kitten, their cute, adorable little kitten got hit by a car, and they were burying it. Leah saw them and thought it was her cat, so she now is accusing of our neighbors of letting her cat out, killing it, and then burying it, and then lying and saying it was their cat. Mind you, their cat has not been seen for a couple days now. So it's kind of like sick and twisted. And she is convinced. She is telling everyone this. And at one point I actually go out and I'm like, Leah, you gotta shut up. You can't keep telling people that they killed your cat. You don't know they killed your cat. They have no reason to kill your fucking cat. And she's like, oh, well, I'm like, and she's like, oh, well, you know, they don't like me and my boyfriend. I'm like, no one likes you and your boyfriend because you're all motherfucking crazy. But they're not going to commit a felony. Actually, I don't think cat killing is a felony. But, you know, they're not going to commit that heinous an act just to spite you. The cat was eventually found. Hates Leah's guts, by the way. Wouldn't even let her go near it. Just kept hissing. So she tried to blame the cat going missing on our neighbors. And then on top of it, a week later, she's like, you know what? When I walked into my bedroom that night, it was so warm. Someone must have turned on the heat. Someone broke into your bedroom, crawled in through the window and turned on your heat. And I keep telling her, like, I didn't hear anything. The walls are like paper. I hear my neighbors upstairs having sex, and I hear them Skyping as if they were doing it next to my ear. I could cheer them on quietly from my bed, and they would hear me. I will hear someone going through your window to turn on your heat. So she, yeah, she's moved out. That's really, it's an anticlimactic crazy story, but she's crazy. And now I don't have to live with her anymore! Yeah! So yeah, there's really not much else to update. Still looking for a job. So I got an interview with the major GIS company of Canada, and I was super, super excited. I thought I did fairly well on it. Like, I could have done better, but like I was confident. Like, I answered some questions where like, you know what? No one has ever thought of that. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it's up. No, it turns out the other cute guy in the class got that. Good for him. Good for him. I'm just gonna have to find a different job, which is fine. Good for him. So, yeah, I don't have any major plans. I'm excited to move back to like Oakville. I'm staying in Oakville for a year. Yay! Save some money, get a job, not drink as much. And yeah, pretty much enjoy the summer. And of course, save up some money to come see you guys in Europe. So yeah, glad to have heard from you. I think it was within the past couple of weeks. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, can't wait to talk to you again.